Hi to everyone. I am going to expose to you the standard I've chosen. This one is for of the Common Core standards applied to third grade. In math, the main topic is the unit of geometry and is reason with shapes and their attributes. Partition shapes into parts with equal areas express the area of each part as a unit fraction of the whole. For example, partition a shape into 4 parts with equal area and describes the area of each part as 1/4 or a quarter of the area of the shape. I think that through this standard, students are going to really apply all their knowledge that they are become till this period of time because of areas and fractions, so they learn how to divide a shape in equal parts. This is also very important for their lives, so they can learn how to divide a shape, whatever the shape is, and make equal fractions of it. This standard challenges students so they can accomplish their knowledge through different tools that they manage to develop through the mastery of this standard. The big ideas of this standard are, as we can see, learn the common core to partition a shape into equal parts and also learn some fractions and how are they called. In this particular case, students are going to learn a quarter of a shape, how to write it, and how to call it. The skills that the students should have with these standards are partition and describe or express. At this point, students have to know the basis of the shapes and areas of it, how to divide a shape into equal parts, and how to do you name them, like a half, a third, or in this case, like a quarter. How to express the fractions with the shapes is also very important for this particular case. I think that learning by doing is really important, so they can really see and apply their knowledge into their own examples. So in this case, I am going to make one activity that is going to have a lot of play in it, so students also learn by playing and having fun, especially with younger children. When they play and apply the lesson into their games, they learn in a better way. So the first activity is going to have some shapes in foamy so students can see them in a more bidimensional shape, and also some shapes that we can find in our daily lives, like some balls or cubes or cones. And students are going to have to first trace the foamy shapes and then cut them so they can prove that they are in equal parts and every part is a quarter and has the same area as the other 3 ones. And they are also going to try this experiment with the 3-dimensional shapes like the balls and cones that are going to be also in foamy. Another activity that I would use with this standard is also a game. Students have to recreate some professions that involve this kind of skill, like for example a bakery or a pizza restaurant or a fashion designer. And so students are going to work with some foam and Play-Doh or some fabric for the case of the fashion designers, so they can form their shapes, and they have to prove to the whole class that they managed to have quarters of the shapes they were working with and how was it easier to divide these shapes. I would assess students' mastery of the standard by giving some tools to really manage to understand how the partition of a shape is and how the fractions work. Throughout these activities, students are going to really interact with each other and are going to also have some peer feedback so they can learn from their peers and have access to really apply what they are learning by demonstrating their other peers, like the other groups. How would they apply this knowledge into their daily lives? The teacher would also assess each and every group, asking some questions about how would they divide some pieces and how are they called as a fraction, and try to interact with everyone so other groups make some questions to fully understand what their peers are exhibiting to the class. This would be the kind of assess the teacher has to give to the students. Well, compare it with the other standards of my peers in the cohort, I would say that I've seen some standards that are applied more to language or communication. I think in this case I would apply a more active standard or active activities in with plays and some games, and really interacting with students, and that they would interact with each other, because I think that also for the grade level I am trying to teach, this standard is very important to learn by doing or learn by playing. So I would say that in this case it's very important that they love math and that they can see that they can apply this kind of fractions or geometry or everything in their daily lives, so they can really apply the knowledge they are trying to learn with this standard. Thank you so much.